is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ty, behind the camera from Ty Drives, and sitting before us is the 2025 Volvo XC40. Now this is in the Plus trim level, so kind of right in the middle, not the base, not the top of the line, but we do have the Plus, and it is a dark themed car, so we have all of the kind of black accents on the outside. And what we're going to do is we're going to check out all the features on this car, from the exterior, under the hood, in the trunk, in the rear seats, and of course in the very front with all the technology. And we're also going to drive this car, but in a separate video, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video. You'll see a link to that pop up at the very end of this video, or you can just check my channel, Ty Drives, for more. But let's get straight into it with the features on the outside of this XC40. Now, as you might be noticing, this is a pretty cool looking color, and it's new for 2025. It's very fittingly called Sand Dune. So pretty cool looking color on this car, and it's got some metallic flake that you could see in the sunlight. But our headlights, now this one is actually optioned out with the pixel headlight technology, so that's pretty cool. And what that's really designed to do is kind of filter out your headlights so that it doesn't blind oncoming traffic, and it also gives you a better view out the front too. But all of our bulbs are LED powered, so we have LED high and low beams, LED daytime running lights, and turn signals in that typical kind of Thor's hammer Volvo fashion. It looks very good, all illuminated. And if we take a look a little bit down south, you can see we have another segmentation surrounded in glossy black, and that is for your LED fog lights. Again, looks pretty good, all lit up there. Now, as you can see, the front bumper is adorned with parking sensors, so we can see even one at the very edge of the bumper, so you can see things at the side too. That's pretty neat. Very nice blacked out grille with the Volvo emblem, and at the very bottom we have a camera for your 360 camera view. Nice short hood on the XC40 that kind of tapers down into the grille with some pretty cool body lines. And we have a bit of black, flat black plastic surrounding our wheels and at the bottom of the doors to protect that sand dune paint. Now this one has the optional 20-inch wheels with the kind of black painted accents. 245/45 is the size of the tires. So pretty good looking wheels on this car, optional 2 on this trim. Now again, dark theme, which means we have all the surrounds on the windows, our mirror covers, and even our roof rails finished in glossy black trim, so that looks pretty good. We can see the panoramic roof system up top with the shark fin antenna, and our mirrors have the blind spot warning in them, and they also have the cameras for the 360 view. All 4 door handles will come with the smart key entry, so you just place your little finger right here to lock the vehicle, or just put your hand behind the handle to unlock. And a quick glance at our window sticker. The rear windows are deeply tinted, but the sun is shining on it, so you can kind of see it. We do have a couple of notable packages and things. So we have the climate package, trunk spoiler extension. We also have the protection package, the 20-inch wheels, pixel headlights, and the Harman Kardon premium sound system. That brings this particular vehicle to a total sticker price, including destination, of $51,040. As you can see, it's a Volvo, so it's very safe. 5 stars in almost every single category. And taking a look at the back, most everything on our taillights is LED too. So we have LED taillights and brake lights. The only thing that's not LED are the turn signals, so take a look at that, all illuminated. And we have a typical, vertical rear lights on this Volvo. Looks very good. As far as badging back here, we of course have the chrome badging, so XC40, Volvo spelled out across the tailgate, and we do also have the B5 all-wheel drive emblem on the other side. Now these lights down here are not only reflectors, but they're actually rear fog lights too. And just like the front, the back does have parking sensors that span the full length of the rear bumper. A couple of things down here below our trunk lip are the trunk opener and your reversing camera too. And before we go any further, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my friends at Valenti Volvo in Watertown, Connecticut, for providing me with this very cool XC40 for filming. And what do you guys think of the styling? I always thought the XC40 is a really fun iteration of what Volvo can do. Let me know what you think in the comments. So, taking a quick look under the hood of the XC40, this does come powered by a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 with a mild hybrid setup, which is pretty cool. And it's got 247 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. So that is plenty of power to scoot along this smaller vehicle with no problem. And we will get an acceleration clip to see how much power this actually feels like it has on our road test. So make sure you tune into that video too. And everything comes hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission with all-wheel drive as standard. Say we take a look at how much storage space the XC40 has by popping the fully powered trunk lid. Now once it's open, it's got a nice wide opening area, and it's not one of those SUVs that has a super slanted back, so you can definitely fit some taller items in the trunk, especially if you remove this cargo cover. Now they've actually designed this trunk area very nicely so that if you do need to take that cargo cover out, you can actually store it, and there's a spot right underneath this cargo floor that you can put it, and I'll show you that in just a second. But we do have grocery bag hangers to either side, also lights to either side, little storage pockets too with some cargo anchors, and as you can see, there is a trunk pass-through right behind the center armrest for the back seats, and they'll fold down at a 60-40 split. We even have a 12-volt power outlet back here and another pocket on this side. It's a little bit larger. Now, this cargo floor is actually pretty cool. So once you lift it up, you can see there is some hidden storage back here. Now, underneath that floor, let me just lift this up real quick. You can see that there is a spare tire back here and all your tools, but where the cargo shade would fit would be right under here. Now this cargo floor is also pretty neat too. Just need 2 hands for this real quick, and you can kind of put it up like so. There's little grooves that it'll slide into, and it'll kind of be a little separation for your cargo. And when you pulled it up, you have 1, 2, 3 grocery bag hooks. That is a pretty cool solution back here. Once you're all done in the trunk, we do have one more light up top, and we can either lock the vehicle and close the trunk, or just simply close the trunk. Now that we've got the cargo space over with, let's take our first glance at the interior. It'll be with the rear seats. Now, let's focus on the rear door for just a minute, where we do have nice, soft, kind of leather wrap material for our armrests. And take a look at the use of carpeting on the door too. It goes all the way from the top, on top of the door rest, down into your pockets. So if you put anything in there, it kind of won't rattle around. So that's a good idea. Now we also have the 13-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, and we have it looks like 2 of those speakers on the rear door. We of course have our metal door handle, which looks very nice, a lock-unlock button, and our window switch, and we have the full charcoal leather interior. Very, very nice. And as you can see, we have a little switch here to fold down our rear seats. Now that'll even drop down the headrest, which is pretty cool. And the seat folds flat with the cargo floor, so it is a true fold flat seat. One more thing you can fold down back here is our armrest, which has 2 cup holders, and right behind this little carpeted portion is your pass-through. Now, for this being the smallest Volvo that is being produced right now, it actually has a really good amount of space back here. Now, of course, the front seat is slid back a little bit more than I would normally sit. I'm 5'10", just kind of like for filming purposes, but I still have a good inch of legroom back here, even with this seat scooted back kind of far. There are 2 net pockets back here. We even have illumination, or I'm sorry, air ventilation back here. And take a look at that. Right below, we do have heated seats and 2 USB connections. You have a slight drivetrain or exhaust hump back here, but nothing too crazy. You could definitely fit 3 people back here in a pinch. And it's pretty nice size back here. Even with the panoramic roof, it definitely lightens things up. We do have illumination to either side as well. And next up, we're going to check out the front seats. The moment we've all been waiting for, the driver's cockpit. Let's check out the door first, since there are some more controls and a little bit nicer appointments than out back. So we have this pretty cool open grain light wood trim. We have our Harman Kardon branded speakers up front, 2-person memory as well for the driver's seat, and lock-unlock controls, mirror adjustments, window switches, and the lockout for the rear doors. I should say the rear windows, and a huge storage pocket, again all lined in carpet. So again, whatever you put in there won't make noises or slide around or anything. On the left of the dash, we have some more wood trim, pretty cool looking air vents, as well as our trunk release, and a couple of slots here where you could put like parking cards or credit cards, things like that. You can also make out the release for the tilt telescoping steering wheel, and we have our hood release and our pedals down there. You can see a little cool storage area right there to put smaller items too. And our driver's seat is pretty good looking. I definitely like the design in the seats. Lots of stitching, so the contrast colored stitching, and a very smooth and nice grain to the leather. We also have fully powered seats with our 4-way lumbar, and you can also adjust the thigh extensions with this little switch right here. You can move them in and out. What do you say we hop in? Check out all the technology. All right, so now that we're seated inside the XC40, you can see the interior layout. Nice looking steering wheel, and of course a very good looking dashboard with the vertical screen and nice wood accents too, but very typical, you know, Volvo styling in here, which is a good thing. But as far as the key goes, we have the Volvo logo on the face of the key, and then buttons on the side. So we have the lock, unlock, trunk release, panic alarm, and a little switch at the bottom to kind of take the key apart, and so you have a physical key in there. Now of course the XC40 does have push button start, and it's right behind the steering wheel. And since this is a mild hybrid, you really don't hear like the cranking of a starter. You just kind of hear the engine whir to life, which is pretty cool. Now let's take a look at what's right in front of us first, which is this steering wheel. So pretty cool looking steering wheel. It's got some good grip bolsters, and it's a nice kind of smooth leather on the steering wheel. We have some bright work surrounding our cruise control functions. Now cruise control, adaptive cruise control is not available until you go to the top of the line trim level. So this will have just a standard cruise control setup, but you do have voice commands and a little bit of functionality for your screen up there with this button here, and these buttons here are also multi-function, so they're either up down for the audio volume, back and forth for your different presets for your audio, or you can also use them to configure that screen up there. Now taking a look at the back of the steering wheel, a couple of stalks of course for your headlights, front and rear fog lights, as well as your turn signals and automatic high beams. And the other side, we of course have our front and rear wipers. Now let's take a look at our fully digital instrument cluster. You can see we have a little bit of glare going on there, but please mind that. But it does look pretty good. Very simple setup. We have the speedometer over here, tachometer right there, fuel gauge at the very bottom with a distance till empty, and we also have a couple of other things like exterior temperatures, your headlight, and your lane keeping assist. Now if we press this little pages button here, it can toggle a different gauge view. So we still have the tachometer and speedometer, but it brings up the Google Maps in this car, which is pretty cool looking functionality of this vehicle, so that's pretty neat. Now one more thing you can do within this digital instrument cluster is press the kind of OK button right in the center, and that'll bring up your trip computers, and you can then reset and things like that. And then that's when you could kind of use these controls here to adjust that screen. So kind of multi-function controls on the steering wheel, so that's pretty cool. But that pretty much does it for the gauge cluster. It's not all that configurable, but it is nonetheless very nice, modern looking, and you can see the map up here. Now the dashboard is all nice and soft to the touch. You can see we also have a nice center channel speaker in the dashboard there. And that brings me down to our touchscreen, which of course is vertical, like most all Volvos nowadays. But very nice setup with the kind of Google built in. So we have Google Maps. We also have the voice commands through Google and all kinds of good stuff, different apps that you can download to the screen. But I'll give you a basic overview. Now you can swipe from the top and kind of log into different profiles, and you also get like notifications from the car here, which is pretty cool. And at the bottom you have some shortcuts, but let's take a look at the Google Maps, which is pretty cool looking. And you can see it's now suggesting us gas stations because we don't have a whole lot of gas left, which is pretty nice. But you pretty much just enter your information up top, or you can use it with your voice commands, and it shows you real-time traffic. Very, very neat. We also, of course, have our kind of radio screen here. So, of course, we have Sirius XM. We could take a look at what's playing with that button right there. And then we also have our different sources, channels, and things like that. So pretty cool. We have a phone screen, and we also have the Google voice commands. And then we also have this kind of pages button, which brings up all the apps that are kind of built into the vehicle. You can see YouTube, so you can watch Ty Drives from your Volvo XC40. Pretty cool. We also have a driving journal, which is pretty neat too. So I guess you can kind of record, you know, when you have your oil changes, things like that. That's pretty neat. Now we do have CarPlay and Android Auto with this vehicle, and it is wireless, which is awesome. We also have our radio screen, Sirius XM, phone, things like that, Google Assistant, also your car status, so tire pressures, servicing, and things like that in that screen. And then we also have our services, so when it's recommended you get your next service. And a couple other things, the Google Play Store, that you can download different apps, and your digital owner's manual. Now going along with more buttons towards the bottom, we can pull up your parking camera at any time. Now we do have a 360 camera. Since this is the Plus trim level, that is one of the features that's contained in the kind of mid-level trim that this car is. And so we can see 360, nice and big camera view. And if we tap to see the rear, you could pull up the rear. Same thing with the side, so you can kind of see from that mirror down, which is a pretty cool solution to the 360 camera. And you can also toggle on and off your parking sensors and your auto braking feature from that very screen. Now at the bottom again, you do have controls for your heated seat and heated steering wheel to either side. That's pretty neat. And we do have climate control, which is mostly through the screen here. So you can see it is a dual zone climate control, so 2 different temperatures, fan speed right over here, where you want the air to blow, and then you have your defrosters and AC settings up top. So pretty simple. Then you can also set up your parking climate, which is pretty awesome. One more thing I wanted to bring up quickly is your settings, since there is a couple of different things in here. You could turn on and off in off-road mode for the vehicle. You can also turn on and off your safety features, and also toggle the steering wheel to feel firm, which is pretty interesting. We have all of our sound settings and whatnot for the Harman Kardon audio system. So you get pretty into it. Turn on and off the surround sound. Various other things like Wi-Fi settings, different controls and whatnot. You can also get into your different profiles and things like that. So if you have multiple people driving the cars, you can get in. You know, it'll be linked up with your memory settings, and all of your stuff will be remembered. And we also have some Google information, system settings, all that good stuff. So, a pretty simple screen, but it's got all of the musts kind of in there. So the Apple CarPlay, the Sirius XM, all that good stuff. Just below the screen, we have a little array of physical buttons for your hazards. We also have your defrosters and physical buttons, which is nice. So as soon as you get in, you know, on a cold day, you can just click your defrosters real quick. We have the different presets. Pause play button, and right in the center you do have your audio volume. Just down below we have a little phone box going on here, so we have a wireless charging pad for your phone, which is sweet. And then we also have a 12-volt power outlet and 2 USB-C connections. We also have this little tray here where you can put loose change and things like that. And that brings me down here to our center console, where we have a Oriflores crystal shift knob. Pretty cool. That's kind of been a staple to some of the nicer Volvos in the past, and they're kind of bringing it into the more more normal Volvo models like this one. So I'm glad to see that carried over to the XC40. And the way the shifter functions is you go straight down for drive, straight up for reverse, in which your parking camera will pull up, and just press the little P button right down at the base of the shifter for park. We also have our parking brake there, and then also our auto hold function. A couple of cup holders here, and if we lift up this nicely padded center console, you can see we have quite a bit of storage. And we even have this little trash bin here, so you could kind of put all your wrappers and things and receipts. And then when you're done, you could just take it right out, dump it out, and remove it. And if you even wanted more storage in your center console, you could just leave this out, keep it at home, and you could use it as more space. That's a pretty cool solution right there. Now, as you can see, we have a little Swedish flag tag on the seats. That's pretty neat. And the passenger area is pretty nice with some wood, and it is textured, so that's pretty cool. And we kind of have a bin style glove box here with lots and lots of space, and we even have a shelf system up top, and it's all illuminated in there, so that's pretty cool. And one more kind of party trick is we even have this kind of grocery bag hanger right here that'll flip out, and once you close the glove box, it'll stick out for you, so that's pretty cool. Our headliner is this very nice cloth, and it's kind of lighter to brighten up the interior a little bit, and the visors will have a card clip, a mirror, and lights too. Now, as you've seen before, we do have a nice panoramic roof in this car, and as you can see, the window, the shade blocks out pretty much all the light. It's kind of translucent still, though. We can open up that shade by just doing a little swipe of the finger right on that little control there. Now, while that's opening, we also have touch illumination, SOS, and kind of messages buttons, and then we have kind of like an all on for the lights. And now that the sunroof is open, definitely livens up this interior and brightens it up quite a bit, and lets the kind of natural light in, so that's pretty cool. And finally up here, we do have an auto dimming rear view mirror with 1, 2, 3 garage door home links in there, and it's kind of frameless, so it looks good too. But that pretty much does it for all the features on the 2025 Volvo XC40. Always one of my favorites when doing one of these XC40s. Make sure you join us on our test drive, which the link should be popping up right about here, right about now, for that video, or just check our channels for any of the other videos. I thank you very much for watching, and make sure you catch us next time.